So I think that's got to be a critical component. Third, the Office of Ratepayer Advocate should have a person in every single council office, a representative. That way, when your constituents call you, you don't have to plead ignorance, you don't have to sit in an interruption. You've got somebody in-house right there, and people on the front lines. I think that's important for your purposes, and I think it's important for the public purpose. And obviously that information will filter up. And lastly, I think the person, and it's got to be an elected position. It has to be an elected, we got to, and I come to you as one of the bigger opponents opposing Measure B. DWP had $800,000, we had zero. We won. It's just the system and the democracy can work. But I think that person, ex officio, can and should sit on the Board of Water and Power Commissioners. They wouldn't have a vote, but they certainly would have an opportunity to participate, because a more arrogant agency, I don't think exists anywhere in this city, maybe state, maybe country. The system as it's structured right now, obviously, does not allow for a decent check and balance. We've got to open it up. These other measures, while well-intended, I just think are tinkering around the edges. We're in a window of opportunity here with dramatic citizen empowerment opportunity. You guys can leave a great legacy, something unique nationwide, and this opportunity exists. I don't think it's going to happen again. I hope we all take advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the initial stimulator of the Ratepayer Advocate, Jack Comfortable. Who's 4 for 4?
Yeah, you guys are tied. They're surprised we're 6 out of 6, and there's only 2 people in contention. So.
Well, you
might be really surprised, but
you guys have been here 6 out of 6.
There you go.
And as have my friends over here.
The Ratepayers Advocate. We'd like a well-funded, empowered, truly independent ratepayers advocate to review and analyze the operations, the business plans, the finances, and the management of the DWP on a timely and continuous basis. We'd also very much appreciate your views, which you mentioned the last time around, hopefully not violating any of the Brown Act. One of the biggest questions here is independence. How do we make sure that the ratepayers advocate is going to be independent? You know, we can set up all sorts of structural things, and some are probably better than others, but there's always going to be a way to game the system. Never fails, whether it's the DWP bureaucracy, politically elected, or those terrorists from the neighborhood council. People are going to try and figure out how to get around it. Probably the most important thing going is making sure that we have a ratepayers advocate and a staff of the ratepayers advocate that is professional, that they know what they're doing, that they can give us good, objective advice that helps us get a better understanding of what the costs are going to be and what are some of the implications of all the various policies. There are also a number of other items that are being considered for the ballot. One being the ability of the city council to remove commissioners and the general manager with a 2/3 vote. That sounds reasonable. The ability of the transfer of the budget to make sure that the city knows what they're going to get and that they're going to get it on a timely basis, I think that's very reasonable. I would also say to you that in terms of the DWP, I would want them to make sure that they keep their books in a manner that is consistent with corporate America, where they actually do use generally accepted accounting principles that apply to corporate America, including Sarbanes-Oxley. I would also think that the idea about the pension and the investing in the pension is probably somewhat is also wise, especially given that the DWP got socked at $750 million using basic real assumptions of unfunded pension liabilities with the transfer of 1,500 employees over to the DWP. I think the idea about the level pay scales is interesting, but I don't know how you necessarily affect that given the basic disparity, huge disparity between the IBEW and the SEIU pay levels. I think you have to be somewhat careful, though, however, in terms of approving the budget with a 50% or 51 or 8 votes. And I think the reason for that is, we've seen it during the rate increases, where all of a sudden various people start getting up and representing their own constituencies. At this point in time, in order to reject the budget, you have to, I think, 245 it, and then you need 10 votes to do it. That might be a simpler way to do it, and maybe, quite frankly, keep you a little bit out of the hot seat. But we look forward to hearing about your views of the ratepayers advocate in terms sheet that's been approved by blank in the unanimous vote, the DWP committee in the vote, and I might also say that a majority of the neighborhood councils have also approved the Ratepayers Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weezer has one more friend, Mr. Garcetti.
Jared Hardy.
Jared Hardy, Communications Director, Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council. I'm not here for them, I'm just talking for myself. Heard the word surplus mentioned earlier. Whenever I hear that in regard to the DWP, I think hidden tax and a regressive tax at that, because those who can't afford the energy efficiency measures at home are hit most with that. Second, ratepayers advocate. In my mind, I always think the most important thing for ratepayers is transparency in their billing and in their individual bills and their ability to project their costs over the long term as well. So transparency is key to anything a ratepayer advocate does or anything that DWP leadership should be doing. In regard to that, I view the internet as the primary tool for transparency that we have today. One interesting aspect of the DWP is their full line access, where they could become a competitor for internet access. That isn't happening today. They have one email address listed on one page with a short paragraph concerning fiber deployment capability. Wrote to that email, no response whatsoever. Not even a thanks for writing. There's just no action being done in terms of that kind of communications access that can lead to the kind of transparency that we're calling for today. And, you know, my area, Eagle Rock, just like the vast majority of America, is in the duopoly market as far as internet access goes, DSL and cable. That needs to end, and places like, or offices like DWP can help end that, and they've done that.
Mr. Garcetti.
Okay, Stephen Allen is our next speaker. From the good community of Elysian Valley. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I'm the chair of the Elysian Valley Riverside Neighborhood Council, and I'm not going to comment specifically on the ratepayer advocate, but I did want to bring a point that I've recently learned about. In our community, we've been working with DWP on a local issue specific to the manner in which some contractors are staging work in the community. Several months passed working on this problem with the Department of Building and Safety, with DWP, and various other entities, including the property owner. Only very late in the game did I realize that the neighborhood councils, all the certified neighborhood councils, have a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Water and Power, and it's quite an encompassing and interesting document. It speaks to a notification process, local issues review, budgetary process, rate actions, education, and delivery of services, all the kinds of communication that we would want with the Department of Water and Power. And yet, as I worked on this issue with DWP, with Council Office and others, that document didn't come to my attention except for a kind of deep research I did at one point discovering it. It's a very useful document, and I think it, to this day, in speaking with the Department of Water and Power, we have yet to be assigned an official liaison from DWP to act in the capacity that the MOU is put forward to function as. So that concerns me, that when local issues that might be resolved in a constructive manner end up going on 4 and 5 months, you get residents riled up, you get kind of a bad feeling on the street about the operations of DWP. And I think that that itself is a very important issue as well. Rates are one thing, and a very important thing, but it's also the manner in which DWP, I think, is woven in with various city bureaucracies in a way that when you, as a citizen, try to civically participate, you find there are different and extraordinary processes.